Hmm.
Do you
Yeah.
have you ever heard that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
Would you rather, it's like, would you rather have $1 million now or a penny doubled every
right,
day? Take the penny every
right.
day.
Well, it's it ends up being about 5.3 million in 30 days. But the interesting thing is that by day 16 or 17, it's still only like $1,000. I mean, the
Uh-huh.
first week, dude, you're still less than a dollar. You know what I'm saying? like
Yep.
like the second week, you're like at I don't know $500 or something like that.
Hmm.
But it's the last 5 days where it goes from like $100,000 to 5.3 million, and that's exactly the story that you just told. About your business. It's like, hey, I thought about quitting in 9 months. I kept going. I closed the 1.2, then I closed the 650, then I closed the freaking 900. You know,
Yeah.
um, and that's exactly it, dude. I love that.
Hmm.
That's real
And
world. That's a real world example. Because a lot of these
exactly.
folks, man, they don't have that. They don't have that vision.
Well, it's
It's
it's easy to.
hard when you're losing to have.
Mhm.
Yeah. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
Oh yeah, because it's easy. It's so easy to caught up in now because we live in such an instant gratification society that
Yeah.
it's like, hey, Amazon, right? Your cell phone, like everything you see, like you want it, you get it right away, and so
Hundred percent.
it's making it harder and harder to focus on the tasks and the goals that take time.
Yeah.
And then again,
Hundred
it
percent.
becomes discouraging in this business when you're seeing closing after when you make real estate friends and you see closing after closing, and you're like, what am I doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. You're seeing 10 friends get one closing each, not one friend get 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Typically so. Typically so. Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely, man.
so
Hundred
good morning,
percent.
Melvina. Good morning, Fati.
Good morning. Good
How are you
morning.
doing? How are you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm all right. All right. Hey, so what sort of challenges are you facing right now?
I think just kind of the same as everyone, lead gen, figuring, finding buyers and sellers. Still
Hmm.
very new. Um, so yeah, just navigating that.
Okay. You said scheduling and lead gen?
Uh, well, I mean, I guess yes, scheduling too, because I'm dual career, but
Yep. Yep.
mainly lead gen.
Lead gen. And it's finding because yeah, I mean, how many hours are you working at your other career?
Um, it's not like a set schedule. I just have to get my work done. So,
Okay. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, that's good, right?
hmm
That makes it a little easier for you. Are
hmm
you dedicating specific hours to your lead gen time?
No, because I never know what I have to do with the other. Like, unfortunately, I'll have a meeting that's set for X time on this day, and next thing I know, it's been moved. And then they move that same meeting again. So I never
Okay,
know what hours I'm going to have free. I just try to do what I can when I have free time.
okay, there you go. All right, perfect. Well then, are you setting up a way to track what you are? Because we talk about when you erase, you replace in this business, right? Or any business, anything in life, really. Um, so if you say, okay, hey, I'm gonna lead gen from 1 to 3 today, and all of a sudden that meeting that got moves for you for your other career, are you at least trying to track how much lead gen time you're making each week?
No, I haven't really tried to track it. Um, and
Okay,
I'm still kind of, I'm not great with the conversations. Like, I've been on the what to say practice with Maya, and it makes like I can do the little, I think, practice rounds. It doesn't translate for me in the real world.
okay. I understand. I think eventually, like I think on a long enough timeline, it'll click, right? Like, but also it is having the in real world conversations. It's a time on task. It's learning, getting more comfortable with the conversations. I would also suggest, searching on YouTube for objection handlers.
Hmm
Search real estate objection handlers conversations, however you want to, and listen to those when you're driving around, and try and rehearse those while you're driving around. Ultimately, it all becomes you want to make it a conversation,
hmm
and the more comfortable you are with any of it, then it just kind of makes it, because the exactly what to role play. That's objection handling, right? That comes down to when you're in the listing appointment. Right now, you're just talking to people, right? Like
Hmm.
you're saying, "Hey, can I help you?" And I think that's the one of the biggest ones you just want to focus on. Can I help you? Can I be a long-term resource? And then when someone says, "Yes, you can help me," what do you say next, right? And being comfortable with that.
Hmm.
So and again, that takes time, right? And confidence and doing it over and over again. And ultimately, I find that you're gonna gain that confidence by doing the work. So don't be afraid to make the calls, because if you don't make the call, then you're not going to build that skill set that you need.
Hmm. Okay, thank
Um,
you.
so yeah, I would say I would start doing it, even though you're not tracking it. Try and start tracking it, and start and setting a goal around, whether you track this week and say, all right, how much lead gen time do I have, and then set a goal. Because if you're not setting a goal and you're not actively tracking, it's going to be really difficult to know where you're going. And I always talk about, like, I attribute to fitness, right? I have like a fitness calendar that I track my workouts on every single day. I've been doing it for years, and that way I can, like, look at last week's numbers and say, okay, I did this last week. Let me set my goal for this week. And whether I achieve it or not, I don't always achieve it. Fitness is very up and down. It's not a linear path. Like real estate is very much not a linear path. Um, so I'd recommend starting to do that, and just whatever the goal is, right? Make it achievable for you. And I always say, make it a stretch as well. Like don't aim for the moon and be disappointed we don't get there, but say, hey, I want to do, I think 5 is doable. If I work a little bit hard, I'll get to 7 calls. Obviously more than 5 or 7 calls. You need way more than that. But so I would definitely recommend starting to do that. Um, Fati, how about you? Any current challenges?
Yeah, so I think it was you actually touched up on this. For me, it's the tracking because like I'll go out, I'll talk to people, I'll get the phone numbers, but like just tracking it, and then like one thing that I'm struggling with is like the follow up.
Mhm. Okay, so have you set up a follow-up system?
I mean, there's command, but like sitting down to actually follow up because I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be lead genning. Okay, no, I gotta follow up. So like, I guess just trying to find the balance between the two.
Hmm. No, but I mean, so you are developing follow-up systems as far as, okay, this is how often I'm going to follow up with the people that you add to your database.
Ooh, no, I haven't done that yet.
Okay, so I mean, I've got very three simple systems that I use, that are just kind of broad systems, and I get more in depth when it comes to my clients and their needs. So I have my 3-month follow-up. Every single person in my database gets a call every 3 months, and then that goes. It's if they don't answer, right, there's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday follow-up system where I'll call them Monday, leave a voicemail, Wednesday, no voicemail, Friday, voicemail, and then I forward the plan. Now, at the same time, if I know that they respond better to texts after that third call, I'll say, oh, sorry, I couldn't leave a voicemail, or another call came in, something like that, and I'll send a text. That way, I try to meet them the way they like to communicate, but I always want to get them on the phone. And then from there, I also have a monthly follow up system when I know, like, and again, it's a smart plan. So I don't have to create the new task every single time. But then if I know somebody's buying in the next 6 months or selling in the next 6 months, they get set up on that monthly system. And then if I've got a deal going on with anybody, or they're actively searching, actively getting ready to sell, it's a weekly smart plan. So that way they never get slipped through the cracks, as far as missing a follow up that I should have made happen. Now,
Hmm.
sometimes I need to get a little more. I'll shift it around when that weekly follow up pops up, and I'm like, oh, I know I need to talk to them on Tuesday. Like, let's say it's today, it pops up today, and I know I need to do something with them tomorrow. And okay, great. I set the task reminder to do that for tomorrow, and I get it done. So I would experiment with the smart plans and find those, to figure out which ones work for you. But those for me work really well as far as just kind of a generalized, this is what works to regularly follow up, especially when it comes to the quarterly follow up. And I would apply that as well for you, Melvina, when it comes to your database. Anyone that says you can stay in touch with them about real estate, call them every single quarter.
Right on. Thank you.
Uh-huh. So you're figuring out your follow ups.
Hmm.
I'm kind of figuring out what else are you having problems with, or what else can I help with?
I guess it was essentially just that, like setting up a system for the follow-ups.
Hmm.
Um, that was a good point that you made. Obviously, like base the follow-ups on their priority in the sense of when they're like buying or when they're looking
Hmm.
to buy. So definitely setting that up. Yeah.
Yeah, because most people obviously are not going to be looking to do a deal today, right? And that's
Hmm.
why, again, the fortune of the follow up, like what Ben and I were talking about earlier, where I built my business from cold calling, and um, I was going to quit after 9 months, but I kept doing the follow up, and then the follow up's what got me to my first cold call closing at 1.2 million, at 1.25 million. And that's ultimately where it is. And again, I can hammer the follow up every single day when I talk about, there are so many people I've done deals with that were like, oh, I've got a realtor you can stay in touch with, right? And specifically a gentleman I connected with from cold calling, I did $1 million in deals and who had a friend who was a realtor, but I kept following up. Finally, he called me one day and said, Tony, my friend doesn't call me to help me take care of my home. You call me to help me take care of my home. You're selling it. And again, I did $1 million in deals with him out of two deals, and I only met him out of two showings because I had hired showing assistants to do a ton of work for me with that deal. So that just shows the power of follow up. And the second and third cold call closing deal, the client said to me, said, "Hey, no promises, but you can stay in touch." I said, "I appreciate the opportunity." I stayed in touch. And then finally, when it was time to sell, said, "All right, you gave me that opportunity." And then, of course, I've talked about this before, where that buy sell that was 1.3 million, and then she referred me her son, who is one of my lenders, who I've now done 4 deals with as well, and he has also referred me multiple multiple clients as well. So the follow up cannot stress that enough. And I know when you're getting started, it feels like it's not working. And I think that's one of the hardest things to realize. It's like it's you don't know it works until you see it working. And
Hmm.
that's another thing I talk about when you're doing the follow up. Take notes every time you talk to them, even if it's just spoke. Hey, I spoke to Tony on July 14th, 2025. Great, you connected. Because again, I got to tell another story where I hadn't connected with a woman in 2 years from a cold call. She finally calls me and says, "Hey, Tony, my parents' house burned down. I need you to help them find a new house here in Atlanta because we convinced them to move close to us." And this is from cold call, and it was just from the follow up. I hadn't spoken in 2 years, and I knew that. But if I felt like, oh, it's not working because we haven't talked that long and I just quit, then I wouldn't have been the person she called. Um, so I would 100% focus on um, your follow-up systems and developing those especially if you create those now while you're getting started,
Hmm.
then it makes it easier to have that in place uh, as your business grows. Because as your business grows, you're adding more and more layers to the things that you can do. For instance, I wouldn't have like I email 40,000 agents monthly. I couldn't have implemented that when I first got started in real estate. It's just because there was too much to learn. So you start with the basics and you build on those basics, like anything you choose to do in life.
How do you find a balance between lead genning and like follow-ups?
And lead genning and what?
The follow-up plans, like how
The
do you find
follow
a
up. Well, so
balance?
I mean, it's sort of a combination of both, because lead gen is the follow up is lead gen, in my opinion. uh, because ultimately it's all about the number of people you talk to. So if you so if you are lead genning is also, you want to you continuously want to add contacts to your database, because people are going to move away, right? Like, so if you don't continuously add contacts to your database, then your database will get smaller naturally. So for me, it's definitely, I consider it one and the same. But at the same time, like when I open up my um, CRM every day, because I don't use Command, and the reason I don't use Command is because it wasn't very good when I started, and now I have too many people in my database Then I have to move it all over, and that's going to be a big task that'll happen one day. But ultimately, that being said, because everyone on smart plans, I just open my computer and it says, like I can, let's see here, if I share my screen real quick. Um, let's see here. See if I can go to this. There we go. So if I go to my CRM, and by setting up the smart plans, this can go away. I don't have to think about it, right? I look at it today and it shows me, all right, great, I've got, all these tasks to do today, right? And let's see, I got a lot to do. So awesome. But I know what to do. 90 day follow up. The CTE, that's call, text, email. I know what to do depending on notes. That's my weekly follow up. This monthly follow up, right? This is a client I've got under contract for a new construction. We're closing in August. This one, she's a monthly follow up, kind of a slightly crazy woman that hopefully I'm going to sell a $900,000 home soon. And again, and then these are like this Julie Flores here. That is a customized follow up because I'm trying to sell her house for when she moves back to Canada. So basically, but I consider those so the follow-ups that are like follow up on your task when it comes to your clients, that's not technically lead gen, but like the 90-day follow-ups, like I absolutely consider that's part of lead gen because you're connecting with people. You're saying, hey, we haven't talked in a while. Is there anything I can do to help you? And depending on how comfortable you are with that person, by the way, and is there anything, do you know anyone I can help buy or sell a home? And that's a big one, to be comfortable asking that question and being okay with it. And I don't like to just ask it, if someone, I'm like, hey, how you doing? Like, I don't need anything. And we get off the phone. Like, I don't want to ask that question then because I don't want to come across as salesy. I don't want to come across as just, trying to get something from someone when I haven't provided value. But if I've had a good conversation with someone, they say, oh, how's the market, Tony? Blah, blah, blah. What's going on? And then I say, well, do you happen to have, or know anyone who's looking to make a change? And I'll show you this. Here's another really good one. You talk about being comfortable with the conversations. We'll go back to the share here. So in the MLS, have you played with, let's see here. So here we go. Where is it at? Oh, here we go. So the InfoSparks, have you gone into InfoSparks?
Not as often as I should be.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, here's the thing. So this is an amazing tool, and this can make you sound incredibly intelligent. All right. So people are like, how is the market? Right. So let's go all right, can anybody explain to me month supply? No? Okay, perfect. I'll
No.
explain it. It's okay. Here's the thing. There's a lot of agents that can't explain it. So month supply of homes means, in layman's terms, if homes were to stop hitting the market today, then we would run out of homes in 4.9 months. That's essentially what that means. Okay. What is a balanced market?
Isn't that a market where the sellers
as far as a month's supply, what would you consider a balanced market?
Was it 6 months?
I'm sorry?
Is it 6 months?
So yeah, it's about 6 months, right? I think probably given the current market, we're heading into we're real close to a balanced market right now. I mean, there's a fair amount between buyer and sellers, but yeah, they say 6 to 7 months is a balanced market. So anything below is technically a seller's market. Anything above is a buyer's market. Now, so we currently, as of June, because this is always, it doesn't like, we won't get July's numbers until August. And I will say, if you look at InfoSparks on August 1st, the numbers will like kind of shift around for a couple days. So if on August 1st, it says 5.2 month supply, Well, and you look on August 3rd, it says 5.1. Just know that whenever you give someone information from the first few days of the month, it's going to shift around. You can tell them that, like, yeah, all the numbers aren't in yet, but currently right now it's telling you this. Now, you want to sound really intelligent to somebody you're talking to. You click up here on 3 month supply, or where it says 3 years, 3 year timeline. You go back to max. So look, 4.9 months. When was the last time we had higher than 4.9 months supply of homes? Look at that. 4.9, August of 2014 was the last time we had 4.9 months supply of homes. The last time we had more than 4.9 months was July of 2012. And I brought this up at team meeting, but I mentioned what was 2012? That was the end of the last crash. All right. Now, I'm not
Mm.
saying we're heading towards a crash. That's not what I'm saying here. But what I'm saying is, you point out to people you're talking to, yeah, like we have 4.9 months supply of homes. The last time we had that many homes on the market was back in 2012, and that was the end of the last crash. Wow. You bring that up, you say something like that. I mean, that's like someone is paid no is looking that far back at the market right there. That's that's going to give you like people like that's pretty impressive, right? So if you look through this, and then you talk about, you can talk about like days on market here. You can click on days on market, right? Like an average and median. Knowing that those sort of statistics, like looking at when any of my sellers, right? Median days on market, is 21. Let's go to average. Average. There we go. 41. If you're looking at average days on market, you're having a listing appointment. One of the big things about working with clients is setting expectations. And so if they think they're going to sell their home in a week, and you're like, well, listen, the average days are back in February, friends, but if we go to now, right, we go to now, go to 41 days on market is the average days on market. So do not be, you set them up and like, look, if it's okay to be on the market for 41 days. That is the average amount of time. Now, what I will let you know is if we're not getting showings, then you're probably overpriced. That's another one you want to set up too, and help them. So, but if you can, you can have that conversation with people that are thinking about selling their home. Just be prepared to be on the market. So, if you had to have your home on the market today, don't be prepared to move out for 2 months. And then again, like in here, another great one to use is shows to pending, or let's see, where is it? Where shows depending right here. So that's great to know. So you go to median on that is 7, average is 11.3. So you say to your clients, one, if the average shows depending is 11.3 and we don't have an offer or are not negotiating an offer, we're probably overpriced. But again, if you're not getting the showings, then you're still overpriced. So that again, and if it's 11.3 and the average days on market is 40, right? And you get to 20 days on market and you have 2 showings, you are overpriced, right? You're not tracking to get to that 12 number by the average number. So does all that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions around what I just talked about?
Mm-hmm.
No?
That's really helpful
Per
though. That's really helpful to be able to have the info sparks up to where you can discuss what the average is and um just give people like an an idea as to what's going on.
Mhm. So I would definitely play around in InfoSparks, right? And look at that, because it is really just helpful information for making giving you like knowledge at your fingertips, especially as what's current right now. And even if you just have a couple statistics that off the top of your head, but I have the InfoSparks open usually when I'm making calls, and I have Matrix ready to go. Because if you get someone on the phone that wants to do a deal, and they say I live at 123 Main Street, and I'm thinking about doing something, this house up the street is on the market right now. Great, you can pull that neighborhood up right away and say, oh yeah, 456 Main Street. They've been on the market for 45 days and they haven't done a price drop. It really looks like they're overpriced because people see, oh, they're listed at $800,000. I can sell my home for that, and they've been sitting on the market for 120 days. Like, yeah, they're on the market. Like, no, you can't clearly, right? And that helps you deliver knowledge quickly and speaks to you as the market expert. Um, so I would definitely keep just getting as comfortable as you can, navigating through, looking up statistics. And then one of the big things up here is you can, play with price ranges, property types, size of the home, number of bedrooms, the years built, and really dial in on what's moving in an area, right? You can go like area, city, zip code, etc. Um, Now I don't get too dialed in by like neighborhood. I'll go zip codes, but you like because some neighborhoods are just not representative as a whole, and you still want to, people. Not too many people are looking for specific neighborhoods to buy a home in. So, Tom, what's going on?
Hey, I was curious, in certain neighborhoods, you get houses that are basically the same year range, yet one has been completely and totally rebuilt inside and
Mhm.
outside even. How do you factor that in as far
So
as
you
pricing
can
and
absolutely justify going outside the neighborhood for that, right? Like
yeah,
because if there's additions to the house, if it's completely gutted, remodeled on the inside,
exactly.
um, and the outside's been redone too,
Right.
then it's because you have your effective construction date as well, and sometimes you'll see that in tax records where they've gutted it all the way to
Right.
the studs and or even more, and then redone the work. So and
Yeah.
again, that's kind of one of those situations you play by ear. If someone just like it's it's hard to there's no hard fast rule on it, but it's one of those it's kind of it when you see it, I guess.
Yeah.
But if it's been completely remodeled, then I will consider going out of the neighborhood as comparables for the home.
Right. Because you have houses that are side by side. One is 1970 original inside, and then the one next to it, 1970, but completely remodeled.
Yeah,
So the the
and
the
there's
guy,
I'm literally dealing with a situation like that right now for one of my buyers where it's not this is their first home. And
right,
one of the things we talked about, I was like, look, if this were your forever home, maybe, but I don't think the sellers did enough on the flip to justify like the
true.
highest sale in the neighborhood is currently 440, and it's not even sold yet in the
Right.
last 12 months, I should say, is at 449. So let's call it 450. This
Okay.
house is on the market at 565. And yeah, they opened up the kitchen, living room space, and they remodeled
Right.
it. But to me, I don't see $115,000 in value.
The
And
value.
what's going to be the problem is too, as I explained to my client, I said, look, you said 7 years, and they're getting ready to have their first child. I'm like, you're probably doing it in 5. I said, it's going to take minimum 4 years for this home to catch up, for the neighborhood to catch up to the home.
Right.
And when you resell that, what the problem is you're going to have is you're going to have a harder time justifying a 5-year-old renovation being
Correct.
$100,000 over the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so they're like, yeah, you're right. So I was like, I want you in 5 years to take as much equity out of that home and buy your next one because I'm going to be there in 5 years to help you buy and sell. So you really want to be careful when it comes to your buyers justifying that price point and say, how long do you plan on staying in the home? If they
Right.
say 3 years, but you don't want to buy a rehab that's now if it's priced right for the neighborhood, great, go for it, get there. But
Yeah. Yeah.
that's $115,000 and $450,000 price point. That's a big jump. That's hard to justify.
Gotcha. I do see
Mm,
that. I've seen that a lot.
yeah.
Houses that are side by side, and one is completely remodeled, the other is not. But the one that's not, they want to jack their price up to kind of be close to the remodeled house. I'm like, it's not happening.
Mm-hmm. So
Can't happen.
okay, yeah. So let's go through this real quick. I want everyone to think about because this is a lot about goal setting, right? And one of my big goals this year, like for instance, from Bold, and I highly recommend Bold when you're not overwhelmed and you think you're ready for it. But having taken it 6 times, I think it's amazing. So this last year, uh, my big takeaway from Bold was YouTube model, right? Getting in and just fully committing on YouTube, getting my editor, putting out a video every single week for my YouTube channel. and we are into the second quarter. Into the second half of the year, right? Third quarter, and I have stuck firm to that goal. I have put out a YouTube video every single week. I release every Tuesday, 6 p.m. There's a couple Tuesdays that came out a little bit late, but it happened. So that being said, and I hired my video editor, right? I've been putting on the calendar. These are the days I'm filming. These are the days I'm at, like I'm doing all the things. And now we're branching out. We're saying, okay, these are the days we're planning for the future, right? Because it's been, a little bit of the planning has been a little bit haphazard, but I'm learning the systems for YouTube, and I'm building that model. And here's the thing: we talk about, thinking about long-term goals and focusing on long-term goals and not seeing results. I'm not getting that many views for the amount of money and time I'm spending on YouTube. It's not very impressive, right? I'm going to say it. I'll be the first to say it, but I'm okay with that because I understand what it takes to build that pipeline. But then once that pipeline's up and going, it'll be good. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about a goal that you can achieve between this Monday and next Monday. All right. Just take a second to think about that. I want you to write it down right now. Right. And then I want everyone to share their goals. All right. So just take a minute and I'm going to go refill my coffee. I'll be right back. And I can hear anybody if they ask a question because I got my headphones on. Goes. All right. So I would say, I'll start with like my goal for the week is to basically have stay true because I'm just now implementing the scheduling day, which is going to be Fridays for my social media. That'll be like working on scheduling, planning, doing all the things I have to do for all the social media, minus obviously a couple of the follow up things. But that's going to be a big portion, a big part of my business I'm implementing now. So this Friday, I want to make sure I'm staying true to that goal of planning, and working around a full social media day, right? Who wants to share their goal for the next week? Next, I'm going to hit everyone, so we can go in order. Whoever wants to go though.
So my goal is to wake up at 5:30 for like literally almost the rest of my life. But I'm pretty much committed to doing that from like today to Monday to kind of, get myself in that pattern. So today was kind of number one. I worked out. I did a lot before I actually came into the office today. So my goal is to just stick to that routine until, I see some production within my business. Well, not until,
Awesome.
but ongoing.
I think it's a great goal. 5:30. I mean, perfect because I get up 5-ish, 5:30, sometimes earlier if I wake up earlier. And I also find, because our circadian rhythms, honestly, if you can stick to it on the weekends. I know it's hard if you do like a Friday, Saturday night out sort of situation, but with circadian rhythms, it's better for your body and you start naturally waking up and it makes Mondays a lot easier. So awesome. All right. Start track it. All right. This week. All right. And hopefully you're here next week and want to know if you achieved your goal or not. All right.
Okay. I'm really glad you said that about Saturday and Sunday as well, because I was like, you might can sleep in on Saturday, but now that you said that, I'm not going to.
Yeah, good. And like at first it's like I'm like, oh, I want to sleep in, but it really does. It just becomes that much easier to do it every single day. So awesome. I think that's fantastic. All right, Melvina, you're up.
I have two home buyer seminars I'm hosting, one virtual and one in person. And so far, I've only got one sign up for one of them. So my goal is to kind of get out and actually talk to people about it in neighborhoods that well, first I want to find the neighborhoods that I know are owned or the properties being managed by like a commercial company, and then go out and actually try to talk to them and get them to come to the seminar.
Okay. So, all right. So as far as like that goes, like, do you have specific days you're going to do that by,
Not really. I just want to do it as much as I can. So
or as much as
today
you
I'm going to
can?
work on trying to pull the information. I started last week, but I didn't get to finish because I ended up having to do a bunch of other stuff. So I wanted to
Oh,
work on that today.
okay.
I also am not that great with figuring out. I know proper, but figuring out. Um, I don't know. I just have to figure out the areas where the property management companies are. I know of the one company I want to target for sure, but then
Uh-huh.
figuring out who else to look for.
Okay. Perfect. So I would say around that goal, right, to help make that goal happen, say, okay, I'm going to get find the areas, property management companies, whatever it is, by this day. That way I can do the other work by that day, right? Because
Hmm.
you seem to have like a two-step process here for this goal.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
So have you here like so yeah, you can go a little more in depth in that, but right, yeah. And next week again, we'll talk about it for you. All right. Who's next? Fati? Do you want? All right, Tom. Let's hear your goal.
Two. Oh,
Oh, you're here, Fati?
yes.
All right, what's your
Um,
goal?
for me, it's implementing that production calendar that been
Hmm.
introduced. I want to commit to implementing that consistently for at least 3 days out of the week.
Hmm.
And then working on a follow-up plan for the legions
All right,
or
follow up
creating a
plan.
smart plan. Yeah.
All right, perfect. All right. And Tom.
Yeah, I think that I need to get out and find new social group type events so that I can build more relationships and ultimately build up your pipeline or at least get your name out. I mean, got
Yeah.
to have something. Then I'll be able
Okay.
to
So
balance. Oh,
as
sorry.
far as what you should find the social groups, is it going to be finding them or is it going to be finding and attending
Oh yeah,
a so
absolutely attending. I'm sorry, I should have clarified.
okay.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
what's the goal? Is it at least one? How many goals? How many would you like to find by next Monday?
At least one, maybe
Yep.
two.
Okay. All right. At least one. All right. So all right, perfect. So right, the more specific you are with your goals, the easier it is
Easier.
to achieve them,
Correct.
right? You're gonna say, I want to make a lot of money. Well, what's a lot of money, right? Let's say I want to make $1 million
Agree.
a year as a real estate agent, then it's very obvious did I hit that goal or not,
Right.
because
Correct.
it's a very specific number. So yeah, so the more specific you can be with your goals, attack your goals from that, but have it written down. Hopefully,
Right.
you know, everyone comes back next week and we can discuss this because part of this is goal setting and accountability. Because without
Correct.
accountability in your life, again, you can have the goal, but a goal without the accountability and the effort is just a dream.
Correct.
Um,
Gotcha.
so anything else? Any final thoughts for the morning?
Oh, Tom, have you heard of Eventbrite?
Yes, I
You
have
have?
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I get that, and I've looked at several of the events that are coming up. So yes,
Yeah, they have a lot of free events on there, so and networking events.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. And here's one thing I would say about events, right? And anybody you talk to is ask permission. Hey, can I stay in touch with you about real estate? Right. And when
Right.
they say, and they will say, I'm not looking to sell, right? Or at these kind of networking events, people say, yeah, great. But people say, I'm not looking to sell. Like, great. I'm not trying to get you to sell your home right now. I want to be a long term resource. So, can I stay in touch? And when they say yes, right, then you say, always make sure you get their information, no matter where you go. But then the next time you call them, remind them, yeah, you told me I could stay in touch about real estate. That's such an effective tool to use on all my follow-up calls. Like, I'd be like from the cold
Right.
calling, I'd be like, hey, because they don't remember you from a cold call, but like, yeah, we connected a number of months back. You mentioned
Right.
to be okay to stay in touch about real estate. So I'm just doing what I said I would do and checking in to see if I can help you take care of your home. And
Right.
so, one, if by reminding them that they said yes, and if they don't remember one, they're not going to say, "Oh, well, take me off your." So, and sometimes people have said, "Take me off your list." I'm like, "Well, hey, you told me 9 months ago when we talked on July 1st that I could stay in touch because I help you take care of your home. So would it be okay to stay in touch because of that? Like, oh yeah, yeah, okay, go ahead, right? I've literally
Right.
flipped multiple people with that kind of conversation. So I think that's a helpful tool. And but by asking them that permission at these events or however you're talking to people, it does it helps validate your follow up later. And you're just saying, I'm just doing what I said I was going to do.
Well, do you feel
So
like building that relationship with someone first, though? I mean, I think, yes, it's important they know that you do real estate, but you have to kind of like, don't just like walk up to somebody and hand them your card and say, here, call me. Let me call you.
well, yeah,
You have to
obviously, if you're
build a
talking at an
little,
event, right? If you're having a little conversation with someone,
yeah,
then it's like, well, hey,
yeah,
since I'm in real estate, can I stay in touch with you? It's all about long-term business
yeah,
relationships, right? Yeah,
right,
but ultimately, like, because if you don't ask the question, it's
right.
always a no. Right?
Well, I mean,
So
in the sense, what is it, the board, the family, occupation, whatever
recreation
else?
dreams, yeah,
Yeah.
family, occupation, recreation dreams. Get people
And
talking about that, right?
then you
Ask about
can,
any one of those.
and
You
hopefully
know,
they'll ask you in return, what is your occupation? And then there you go.
hmm
I
so.
hope that's the way it'll work. That's
Mhm.
that's what I
Yeah,
want.
exactly. Right. Yeah. All right. Well, any final quick thoughts before we sign off today?
Oh, just one last thing, you guys. So on Tuesday, we're going to be presenting both Rachel and Ashley, and if I can get everything for Erica too, Erica as well, with like a little thank you card and a gift for all the work that they've done. So the thank you cards are going to be with Erica at the front. So if you're in the office, just ask Erica, go ahead and sign it, leave a little message. So yeah, and then spread the word.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being the driver on that, Fotsy. That's absolutely amazing. Really nice that doing that for them, let them know they're appreciated because I know sometimes people can feel like they are not. All right. Well, I am grateful for all of you for showing up today. This is the largest Motivation Monday we've had in maybe ever. And seriously, though, I hope to see you back next week because this is about goal setting and accountability. And if you're not here next week, I can't hold you accountable to what you said you were going to do between today and 7 days from now. Okay.
Got it.
All right,
Cool.
thank
Awesome.
you.
Nice work, everyone.
Have a
Get
great day.
after
Ciao.
it. Win the day.
Awesome.
Oh, and this is, by the way, this is going to go on YouTube. I'm going to start putting these Motivation Mondays on YouTube. So just so you know, everyone looks camera ready.
Uh-oh.
You don't have to look at me. I'm bumming it right now. So you don't need to begin. This is about, this is not a formal thing.
Okay.
This is very, very laid back. I just want to let you know I'm trying to build this call up. All right.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
You too.
I will end meeting for all.